Hello Rosies, it's story time. And yes, what have we been learning about today? The penguin. You are so right, the black and white penguin. So I have a story here, and the title of the story is called The Brave Little Penguin. I wonder if you can think about a time when you had to be brave. Wonder what brave means. Does it mean trying something that you find very difficult? Does it mean trying something that you don't really want to do, but you need to do? Sometimes we all need to be brave, and this little penguin was very brave. Right. My garden is alive with bird sounds this morning. I'm sure you can hear them too. The brave little penguin is a tale from South Africa. See if you can find out where in South Africa. Listen carefully. Long, long ago, high up on the top of a table-shaped mountain, there was an egg. Now, an egg in itself is not unusual, but this was no ordinary egg. In fact, the creatures on top of the mountain had never seen an egg of this sort, and quite how it got there, nobody has ever found out. That is a strange place to have an egg. But there, all those many years ago, sat this unusual egg on the top of that table-shaped mountain. Where in South Africa do we find a table-shaped mountain? Yes, you're right, it's Cape Town. There it was, all on its own, on a green tuft of grass. Now the egg-laying creatures were curious about this egg, and one by one they came to inspect it. What creatures came to inspect the egg? A tortoise, a lizard, a weaver bird, oh, a frog. Did the egg belong to them? No, it didn't. The blue-headed lizard and the stripy snake both looked at it rather suspiciously. Doesn't look like it belongs to anyone in my family, croaked the lizard, and he scuttled off rather hurriedly. If it belongs to someone in my family, I wouldn't like to meet this particular cousin in a dark and craggy nook, hissed the snake, slithering off as fast as he could. Wonder why he didn't want to meet it. Was the egg rather big? The smaller birds were most fascinated. Walking around the egg, they considered the shape, the size and the colour. Never seen quite an egg like it, they whispered. Well, birds of our size would never manage to lay an egg as big as this, they all agreed. It must belong to an eagle, they said. But when the eagle came to inspect the egg that was causing so much fuss on the top of the table-shaped mountain, he shook his head. I'm most impressed by the size of this egg, but it certainly does not belong to me. And off he flew. Look at all those beautiful different creatures. A few days later, when no one but a lonesome Dussie was sitting on a rock nearby, the egg began to crack. The Dussie moved a bit closer. The egg cracked a little bit more. Closer still the Dussie went, and finally, with a loud crack, out popped the head of a little penguin. Are you my mummy? He asked. No, not me, stammered the Dussie, who was very surprised to see this sort of bird. Oh, look there. you think the Dassie should be the penguin's mummy? Climbing out of his shell, the baby penguin peered at the Dassie. And then he peered down at his own body. And then he asked, "Do you know where I could find my family?" The Dassie shook his head. "I'm afraid not. You're such an unusual bird, and I've never seen anyone like you on this mountain." "Perhaps you need to go down there," he said, pointing beyond the steep slopes to the land below. And so the brave little penguin set off to find his way down the mountain, for there was nothing else he could do. Have a look down there. What is down there? You're right, it's the ocean. I wonder if the Dassie has pointed him in the right direction. I hope so. Straggling down the rocky face of the mountain, the penguin came across a baboon who laughed scornfully at the penguin. "Why are you walking? You're a bird. You should use your wings and fly like them." He pointed while the birds in the sky soared above. And looking at all the birds, and looking at his wings, he understood what the baboon was saying. He began to flap his wings faster and faster and faster, and he even tried to jump off a nearby rock. But try as he might, do you think he could fly? No, he could not lift off the ground. Poor little penguin. He is being so brave. And he's not giving up. He keeps trying, doesn't he? Scratch, 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 goes the baboon. "You are a curious bird indeed. What are you?" "I'm afraid I don't know," said the little penguin sadly. "I'm looking for my family right now." And the baboon shook his head. "I cannot help you. Best you just keep on walking." And so off the penguin went again. After a long while, the penguin came across two zebras munching on some grass. "Hello," panted the penguin, who was by this time quite out of breath and rather hungry. "Do you know where I could find my family?" "My dear child," said the big zebra, "I haven't a clue." "Can't he stay with us, Mummy?" said the baby zebra. "We could look after him, and there's plenty of grass to eat." "Oh, yummy, I'd love to eat some grass," said the penguin. And with that, he munched a mouthful of grass. What do you think the penguin thought about the grass once he tasted it? Do you think he went, "Yum, yum, delicious food"? But, "Oh, phooey," he said, spitting it out immediately. "Now I know grass is not for me. I definitely belong somewhere else." "I must say," said the mummy zebra, "I've seen webbed feet like yours before, and they belonged to a seagull who lived on that round piece of land in the middle of the water. Perhaps that's where you ought to go," she said, nodding towards a small island not too far from shore. So waving goodbye to the friendly zebras, on he trundled in the direction of the sea. I think he may be getting closer. Those webbed feet are beautiful for swimming. They're like paddles. It was a very long time before the penguin reached the ocean. But when he did, he sniffed the air. For some reason, the smell of the sea made him happy. He walked to the edge of the water and he splashed his webbed feet about. Oh, he felt so comfortable that he decided to dive right into the water. Why do you think he felt so comfortable? You're so right. Because That's where he could belong. And that's exactly what he did. How marvelous it felt, the cold water covering his feathers. Oh, how easily he swam, and when a school of fish swam by, he knew instinctively he could eat them. And he ate until he was no longer hungry. He swam to the little round island, and climbing out of the water he could see in the distance the table-shaped mountain from where he had come. All around him, waddling and barking, were large, furry, brown creatures. What do you think they were? Dogs bark, you're right. But no, these creatures live in the sea. Seals. Are you the seagulls? He asked them rather timidly. No, chuckled one. Those are the pesky fish-snatching seagulls up there in the sky. He pointed to the birds flying above them. We are seals, said the seal proudly, before adding, Are you lost, little penguin? I wonder if you can make a seal noise. Ow, 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 ow. A seal sound is called a bark. I'm a penguin, said little penguin, looking surprised. Of course you are, said the seal, and if you pop on my back, I'll take you to your penguin family. And so off they went, swimming under and over the waves, Penguin feeling as happy as he could be. At last they reached a beautiful, white, sandy beach with big, round boulders. And there, ambling about on the shore and splashing in the water, were hundreds of penguins just like himself. This is truly a brave little penguin. The story of his journey all the way from the table-shaped mountain amazed the other penguins. What a brave little penguin he was. But most of all, how happy they were that he'd found his way home. I wonder, have you guessed what part of South Africa? Yes, from Cape Town, the table-shaped mountain. You are so right. Well, girls, I wonder if you've been brave before, and if you could think of a time you had to be brave, maybe chat with Mum and Dad and talk about the brave things that you've done. Have a lovely evening. Bye, girls.